Okay, now in our previous tutorial, we have added a field in the asset table and display it here on the front end. Now let's say instead of having this field enable allows the user to type in any text, any information, we want it to be restricted to a list of value like maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 for priority, for example, similar to this field like priority. Then what we can do is we can associate this field with a domain, and we can define the list of available value in that domain. So and we will have to associate it with this field. So that's what I'm gonna do next. So now first we will need to create a new domain for this field. So we can go to the system configuration, platform configuration, and domain application. Now I'm gonna create a new domain. In this case, the field is a text field. So I'm gonna add a new text domain. I'm gonna call it custom text domain. Now let's say in this case we're gonna make it ALN. I'm gonna make it the same length as the attribute that I have, and now I can click on new row here to define the values that I can select from the list. So let's say I'm gonna have a 1 and the first value, and then I will create a new field to value 3. Okay, so now I'm gonna click OK. Before I do that, I'm gonna copy this value so I can use it later on. Okay, all right, so now we've got the value, the domain, so which is basically a value list that we can associate to a field. Now we're going to associate it to our field by opening the database application, database configuration, and now we will open our asset objects and go to the field that we have. So I'm gonna go to the custom text field, and to associate the domain with this field, then I have the domain here. I can write the name of the domain down here, or what I can do is I can click on select value and search for that domain that I have here. So I'm gonna custom, so it will display the domain available, and I will click on it and it will save the domain here. Okay, so now we have associated this domain to this field, and it is a database change. So what we have to do is we will have to apply the change to the database. So that's what I'm gonna do next. I'm gonna apply the change. So in this case, this is a change that doesn't change to the structure of the underlying database, so we don't have to click on the backup checkbox. I think we don't even have to turn on admin mode as well. Let's quickly check that by turning off admin mode. Okay, so admin mode is off now. Let's quickly check that by click on apply change. Yes, you can see here, because of the new additional information, it doesn't change the structure of the database, so we can apply the change without having to turn on admin mode. Let me go back and open the application again, so you see that the admin mode icon has been disappeared. Okay, now open database configuration, and you can see we have a change here. We can apply the change, and we will start. Okay, so now we have applied the change. So after we have made associate a domain with our field, and we will let Maximo know that that field can be a lookup as well. So what we have to do is go to application designer and open our asset application. And for that field, what we can do is we can right click on it and open the properties dialog. And down here we still have the same information, but for a lookup, what we can do is we can tell it that this has a lookup, so we can type in a value list. So by doing this, then it will show a small magnifying icon here, and when we click on it, it will show up a small dialog. So I'm just gonna close this one and save it. I will show you how it works. So now let's open asset application and open any asset. So now if we click on this button, it will show a list of 3 values that we have entered. And when we can click on one of those, and it will modify this field to have the value that we selected. And now if we enter anything, then it will give me an error. We click on it, it say this value we enter is not correct. So now we have to go back. So what we can do is we can only select one of these 3 values or type it in, but it must match with the listed value. Yeah, if we type it in, it will be okay. So that's how we make a field become a selectable from a list.